right, Rob. We are going to go live right now. Happy Wino Wednesday. How are you, Rob G?
Cheers.
Cheers,
Gina
everyone.
and everybody.
How are you doing?
Good.
We're back. We're back into our studios in downtown San Diego, outside in this beautiful day,
And
right before the ball game.
Feels so good.
It feels nice, right?
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, cheers. Welcome. I am Gina. This is partner in crime, Robbie G.
Robbie G.
Yeah, here to talk about Chenin Blanc this evening. And we welcome you. I know most of you have already been through this before, but for the few of you that are new out there, if you have a YouTube account, you can ask questions via the chat function. If not, hopefully we'll answer all of your questions as we go. What else can we tell them? I think that's kind of it.
Maybe I should tell them about the cheeses on the plate first before we get into the wine. So we're going to start with talking about the wine, and then we're going to kind of go through each of the cheeses in order, but I should just identify them for you first so you know what's what, because of course, feel free to get ahead and really just start snacking on all the cheeses. The first cheese is, and they are the same order that is on your lid. Oh, Gina can hold them up. Mm-hmm. So the first one is the Cana de Cabra.
I maybe can hold it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it. I was getting it already, and it all stuck together.
So the Cana de Cabra is the really white cheese with a little ring around the rind. And it has a white, brie-ish looking rind on it. It's a goat cheese, which we will talk about shortly. The second one is called Bufflone Rousse, and it's a really squishy cheese.
Squishy's good.
With a little bit of orange on the rind, and that's going to be the second one in our order tonight. The third one is called Tomarashi, and it has the red flakes in it, the little chili peppers.
Can't wait to talk about this one.
So that's the Tomarashi. And then the fourth cheese is called Paski Sir, and it is a very kind of like a deep straw color. And
kind of looks like a sunset or something. I mean, that golden edges, look at that.
It looks like closer to the rind, it gets darker and more kind of like a deeper orangey yellow color.
I love it.
Yeah, it
another
like
fun one to talk to.
Pretty.
Indeed.
And then all kinds of accoutrements. There is rosemary, of course, fresh grapes, fresh strawberry, figs, crackers. And what's our jam?
That's a good question. We're going to have to eat it and find out. I neglected to ask. I do this with the jams every time, and it's so sad, but I'm always pleasantly surprised. Remember last time that fennel, the pollen honey, how creamy and delicious that was?
It was so good.
So good. Anyway, you tell us. What does your taste bud say, Professor?
I didn't get enough of it. I think
more.
It might be like a rhubarb, though.
Ooh.
Do we have a rhubarb?
Fun for the summer. We do.
I think that's what it is.
Ooh, rhubarb. Okay. Rhubarb, everyone. Awesome.
That's my guess.
Okay.
Well, tell us what you think.
Exactly.
This will be a guessing game tonight.
Oh my gosh, it really is. But with our wine tonight, we are going, for the first time, to South Africa. Have you been?
I have not. I know you have.
Yes, you must go.
I have only been to northern and eastern Africa.
Okay, that's right.
Never to South Africa.
Okay.
But do tell. What I know just off the bat about the wine is that this is like the perfect summer varietal, and so it is a perfect July wine for sitting out on the balcony during baseball season. So tell us more about it and how does it taste? Most importantly,
I've had this before in South Africa, and it is kind of one of their popular brands and makers, I would say. This Simon Sig from the Stellenbosch region of South Africa, which is kind of like their Napa Valley. Is really a good way to put it. It's almost similar in kind of acreage, climate, so much about it mirrors our Napa Valley. So if you've been there, it's kind of going to be really similar. There's actually a city called Stellenbosch, but also the region. Kind of like Napa is a city, and then there's the Napa Valley in the region. So it's, again, similar in that sense. But the Chenin Blanc, the grape, is kind of the most popular grown grape in South Africa. And for good reason. It is. It's crisp. It's acidic. It's bright. This is one you could sit, if we had a pool, I would sit at the pool sipping this one all afternoon into the evening.
Well, so
we're really good with the cheese.
I kind of know that's what I know of the region. Stellenbosch or Stellenbosch, however it's pronounced, is they call it like is it Western or Eastern Cape? It's Cape Town, but if you
like 25 miles from Cape Town,
you can only go east because you're going inland. So it's east of Cape Town. And it is, it's sort of like their Napa Valley or Sonoma County. So I'm guessing that it has something to do with maybe some rolling hills or maybe some fog rolls in there, and they have a similar...
And in a valley.
Yeah,
you see
exactly.
the kind of the mountain ranges, mountain hills on each side. Real beautiful. Just super reminiscent of it.
And I've heard it's really a beautiful place. Like, there, it's a place to have like weekend getaways, and it's a college area too. So there's a couple
big
universities
college
there.
Population. Yes, and from people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And there's actually a university for winemaking in that region as well.
Oh, wow.
You know how we have San Luis Obispo, the dairy, they're so big on that here.
Yeah.
Well, they've got their wine university there where people go to learn how to make things like this Chenin Blanc.
Yeah, that's so interesting. There are certain sort of food meccas around the world that have centers for learning and advancement. I mean, in Bra, Italy, they have a kind of a place like that. They have, I'm sure in the Napa Valley they have some places like that as well. Or even in like UC Davis is known because it's kind of Sacramento, which is sort of close by.
Exactly,
so they
for the agriculture.
Exactly.
Really good.
So as Gina said, South Africa is the leading grower for Chenin Blanc.
Yes.
And if you were to compare it to any other grape, it's kind of a cousin or sister of Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, which is interesting. And in flavor-wise, I could see that.
Very acidic.
Getting so good at this after 27 Wine and Wednesdays. I know my grapes.
You know what? People are like, well, how do you teach your palate to like know about cheeses and know about ripeness? And it's all about eating, drinking. If you just practice, just lots of practice and research. But Sauv Blanc, of course, is the grape that is connected to the Loire Valley.
Yes.
Or Sancerre, and as I said, they are cousins. They are similar. Chenin Blanc originates in the Loire Valley.
Yeah, that's so interesting because I always assumed it had originated in South Africa. But no.
So it was brought to South Africa in most likely in the late 17th century by Huguenots. And do you remember what the Huguenots were?
No, I don't.
The Huguenots were French Protestants that were they were not really accepted at certain times, and so they were ousted from the country.
It's a cool name, the Huguenots.
Huguenots. I don't know where that name comes from, but Protestants are the people who were protesting Protestant. Some of the others that were Christian Catholics, and so they weren't getting along. So at certain points they were pushed out, and so they're given credit for bringing certain wines to other places, and that's how a lot of times wine or cheese recipes and things traveled were for reasons such as this. And so they came down to South Africa and they planted Chenin Blanc from the Loire Valley. But there's a couple regions in the Loire that it is really connected to, and you might recognize these places because a lot of times the French will label their bottles with the region or the place. Anjou,
yes.
And Vouvray.
Vouvray. Now I've had Vouvray.
Am I saying that right?
Vouvray. You are. But I've never had Anjou. I only know Anjou as a pear. I don't know it as a wine varietal, but we must add it to the list because I'm loving it if it's any relation to this.
So Vouvray,
Vouvray.
and Vouvray and Anjou are both AOC. They are both protected by that French AOC system, which also protects all their cheeses. But the thing they say about Chenin Blanc also is that it has kind of a neutral palate. And so a neutral palate is, for a winemaker, they see that as being capable of giving a good expression of the terroir or the earth. So it's neutral. So they want for whatever the season, whatever the temperature and climate, like whatever that vintage did to the wine, it is whatever the condition of the grapes were, it's going to be really noticeable in a wine that has a neutral palate.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be really good for that.
It is. It's super. It could go so many ways. I could have it with something super spicy. Like I think it'd be great with an Asian dish, like a Thai, a spicy pad Thai. I would love that. I'm anxious to know which cheeses I'm going to love it with, but I'm guessing the last one because I think it's going to go great with something salty.
Do you get any stone fruit in there?
Yes, a little bit. That peachy. Yeah. I would say peachy is what I'm getting. So that's lovely. Again, summer. Scream summer.
The one last thing about high acidity wines are, so a lot of times like in the northern regions they produce high acidity wines, they don't get fully ripe, and so they taste more acidic. And oftentimes those regions are known for making their wines into sparkling wines. So Champagne is, of course, a northern region, and because Champagne is protected by that AOC, Appellation system, if they make a sparkling wine in the Loire, or in France, this one's from South Africa, but if they made a Chenin Blanc in the Loire, it would be called Cremant.
Cremant. Oh, that's which we learned in our Champagne class. Yes.
So oftentimes, like if you see something called Cremant de Loire, it's there's like 7 regions where they can make Cremant.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Chenin Blanc.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all related.
It's all related.
It's all related. It's we're learning and learning. So interesting. I can get a hint. Okay, so this family, it's a family-owned company. This is 3rd generation now making this wine. They don't use any oak or anything, but to me, I get just the teensiest taste of that woodsiness. And that was interesting because I learned, did you know, that California used to also grow. They used to be a huge grower. Chenin Blanc was their biggest grape until the 70s when Chardonnay took over.
Yeah.
And then Chardonnay became all oaky. They went into the oak and all this stuff. And that, Chardonnay has really changed here in California.
Yeah.
But it was all, went back to California also grew the Chenin Blanc grape, which is so, again, it just all cycles back and everyone shares what they know from different cultures or different parts of the world, right? And then blends them all together. But
do you feel like this is so different from Chardonnay, especially the oaky ones? Like I feel like Chardonnays are like, they can be buttery, they can be oaky, but they're usually really big, where this seems more light and crisp.
Sauvignon Blanc-y, which is light and crisp. But just that hint, if you put this in oak, I think it would take on all those characteristics of Chardonnay, and then I might say it's a Chardonnay.
I compare oaky
or should I say,
wine.
That's a Chardonnay.
Oh my god. You're such a valley girl since you moved to California.
Oh yeah.
I would compare oaking wines to like smoking cheese, don't you think?
Oh, okay. I guess maybe because, and I like a hint of oak.
Yeah,
or
a
maybe
little
a hint
bit's
of smoke.
okay, but a little bit is very noticeable.
Definitely.
So with smoking cheeses,
that's a good way to put it.
I mean, just really subtle. But because I've seen where it's been overdone.
Yes, for sure.
And it's just hard to.
It's just too much.
You can, and it overwhelms anything you try to eat with it or whatever. Like,
it goes back to almost everything in moderation, because overdoing any of the things is bad, right? Not so good. Yeah. Our friend Carol.
Hey, Carol.
Loved your information about Cremant.
Oh, thank
Found that
you.
very fascinating.
Oh,
Thank you for the tidbit.
Glad
Want
you
another
like it.
fascinating, completely useless tidbit?
Huh.
The oldest house in all of South Africa is in the city of Stellenbosch.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you know that? Did you just read that in your research?
Yes, I was researching about it and the region, and never visited it. But
I was just going to ask. So when you were in Cape Town, right?
We were in Cape Town,
but you didn't get to the wine region.
We passed through we just drove through the wine region. We did not have, sadly, time to wine taste while we were there, but drove through. Gorgeous, and it reminds me of San Diego. I have to say, Cape Town. It's the culture, the people, just. The water surrounding kind of the city really was San Diego-esque to me.
Isn't it the same like latitude or longitude or something?
Almost, yeah. Because did you know if you drill, how you can, there's an app or something that'll tell you exactly if you drill through there. You used to say, oh, you're digging to China. Everyone was digging to China. But if we were to dig, Robbie G, directly through the center, we would actually hit almost Madagascar. Did you know that? From San Diego.
No.
Yeah. But I think you're right. It's about that same... No, it can't be. They must be. They're much more.
I don't know.
Southern. I don't know. They have same climate.
Very really similar temperature, climate, and but if I remember correctly, when you were there, didn't you go swimming with sharks or go pet a tiger or something? Did you do something daredevilish? I wanted to, but I got hit with a little spat of food poisoning the night before. But I was supposed to swim with the sharks, because this is something you can do down at the Cape. Down at the point. Which is why is it escaping me the name of the point. Roger, my husband, went swimming with the great whites. So they put you down in a cage in a. Did he ride the shark
Oh yeah, He's called it like a taxi and hopped right on. And but he said the shark, of course they put stuff in the water to lure the sharks in, but the shark come right up to the edge of the cage. Oof. Right? But to get out there would have killed me, Rob, because it's like he said, the waves were like this. to get
You
out
mean like
there. This is the Cape of Good
seasickness?
Hope. That's what it is down there.
That's right.
Yeah, and seasick. It would have just done me in. So it's half an hour to get out there, and then you're in this cage, but with the sharks. But you can do this all in South Africa. I waddled with the penguins. We went to like a penguin reserve, and there were little 2 penguins holding their fins, like they were holding hands.
Aww.
Something to see.
That's
Cape
beautiful.
Town, has their famous Table Mountain, and they call the fog, it just goes rolling off of it, and I did a time-lapse video. The fog rolling off, they call it the tablecloth, because it just looks like a tablecloth falling off the mountain. Something to see. It's we went for safari. Most people, I think, right, go to Africa unless they have family there.
Yeah.
To try out a safari. So something to see.
Yeah.
Nice culture, nice people. But again, San Diego-esque. I felt just at home. And the wine is great. We drank a lot of the wine. I didn't get to go visit the wineries.
Yeah, Jaws kind of ruined me with sharks, but no. Go ahead.
Jaws ruined you. So I'm gonna give a shout to Rob because we're actually like on the 9th floor, and Rob's a bit scared of heights. And just to his right, which you can't see in the screen, is the rail.
Oh, it's a drop off. We're 9 stories up right now, and I'm looking right over the edge right here.
He's facing his fears. But we digress. Carol was asking about the aging of this wine. So not in oak, just in stainless. So it's kind of interesting, Carol. Yeah, even though I am getting that oakiness, and I'm trying to see what they said, the winemaker, how long it is there. But it's best drinking, like most whites, it's best that you drink it within a couple of years of when it's made. It's not to be kept. Obviously chilled is really good, but it doesn't say it's unwooded, so it's, just in stainless. Some Chenin Blancs, I've had them that are very woody, which I would guarantee then were probably, in oak. Because also another little factoid about the city and that region, the city is called City of Oaks, because I guess that, the Dutch are really who settled Cape Town, planted tons of oaks, and Napa has tons of oaks.
Yeah, I
those
love
hillsides
oak trees,
dotted with the oak trees.
Yeah.
Same kind of concept there. So they've got lots of oak that they could age in, but not all Chenins are done in oak.
I wonder if they get any truffles, because truffles often grow.
Right, I've
oak.
never heard of a South African
Yeah,
truffle.
me neither.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's move there and cultivate truffle. You can't cultivate them. This is the problem.
No, you can just hope.
Okay.
Well, it is a Cape of Good Hope.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, he's going to say it. Why do we have to? We're thinking way too much alike now.
The last thing on Africa, just remember, Africa is a continent, not a country.
Africa is a what?
A continent, not a country.
Did I say country?
No.
Shoot.
But I've heard people call
Say
it a
that,
country, and I'm like, oh,
it's a continent.
Yeah, and there's many countries, and it's
Countries
ginormously
in Africa,
huge.
yes.
And it's very diverse in their cultures and languages. And
right?
It's a very diverse country. I mean, you've got, like my wife is from Eritrea, which is next to Egypt and Ethiopia.
So northeast.
Djibouti, it's northeast. It's on the Red Sea, so it's across from Arab Emirates and all that stuff. And then, of course, West Africa is another beautiful place, and then the center of the country is where the Congo and all that stuff is. So it's a huge place. Yeah, I'd like to explore more.
Yes, exactly.
I've been to Morocco is the other place I've been to.
Oh, see, I want to do that too.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, so different from.
Right?
South
Could
Africa.
you even say that it'd be the same? Well, it's like Northern California, so different from Southern.
yeah, right.
Texas from California, New York from
Could be more different.
Interesting.
I guess we should talk
Very
about
good. We should get into the cheese because I want to see how it goes with this wine, Rob.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one,
without further ado,
Cana de Cabra.
I love this. So we're going to Spain, and yes, Chenin Blanc, did you know, also grows in Spain. It's not as famous as their, say, Albarino, but it is grown there as well. So
that's a huge piece.
Could be good. That's really nice presentation, but I will take it. Hungry people can't be choosy. I don't know what the saying is, but I will eat it in any form. So Cana de Cabra.
So I'll talk while Gina's chewing. The Cana de Cabra it's actually Cana de Cabra, and Cana means reed, and I don't know if it's reed because the goats graze on reeds, or if it's the shape of a reed, R-E-E-D, but Cana de Cabra, Cabra means goat, of course, because it is goat's milk 100%. It is...
Rob, on that note, they used to wrap, we'd get it in the plastic reeds.
True.
They look like straws. I bet you in the olden days they wrapped it in the reed to make it that log shape.
Yep, that's got to be what it is. So there's another really famous cheese from Spain called Manchego, and it is really easy to spot or know a Manchego by the kind of design or this crosshatch on the rind, and that is from the fact that it was originally aged and wrapped in esparto grass, a certain type of grass. So similar to this one, that we're talking like originally meaning like thousands of years ago. So now when we get them, it's a little bit less romantic. So we have like plastic that kind of looks like straw.
They look like
reeds.
straws. They are straws,
They
but
are
they're
straws.
calling them like little reeds. It's hilarious, yeah.
Or they sometimes
They're so good.
they'll send cheeses now that are, it's like a foil or a paper that is like painted like leaves, like it used to be. You know, when they used to be wrapped
Oh,
in
it used
leaves.
to really be leaves, and yes, now it's foil decorated with leaves on it. It makes me so sad. I want that real old stuff, that old world, you know.
There are still some, but sadly a lot of them have moved into to doing things easier, I guess. The Cana de Cabra is from a region called Murcia, which is on the Mediterranean, so it's like southeastern Spain. They produce a lot of cheeses there, a lot of the cheeses that we carry. They also have a particular breed of goats. They're called Murciana goats.
Murcianas.
So if you, I encourage anyone to Google Murciana goats, and you'll see a really funny picture of where the milk is stored underneath their bellies and where their udders are, and they have a huge sack, and
So weird.
they produce tons of milk, the most milk of any goats, I would say, for sure. So this cheesemaker has a sheep's milk cheese also with a local breed of sheep, and that looks similar. But I wanted to bring up the appearance of the cheese because
That's so cool to see.
you
I
have
want to hold
three very distinct textures and kind of I don't know,
And colors.
flavors,
Yeah,
and colors.
Yes, you have to eat each part of it. The very center, that's the whitest, and then it's kind of the goldeny, yellowy outer paste, and then the rind.
Yeah, the
Completely
rind is
different.
meant to be eaten on this one. I gotta have a bite. But the part underneath the rind is a little bit riper, and so that's going to be a little bit.
More unctuous. Okay, so
Funky.
the interior, the whitest part, everybody, really tart, which is common with the fresh goat cheeses. You're going to get that lemony tartness and brightness. So the whitest part of that is kind of the youngest part of the cheese. It hasn't aged yet, so it's kind of as fresh as it can be in the center there. So that one's really pleasant, lemony, tangy. Now you get to that, the outer rim, and wow, that gets unctuous. That gets goaty. And goaty's a word. Like, I think definitely should be a word in the dictionary, because you taste it and you go, that's goat. Without fail, you just can know when it's goat. And Carol loves it with the jam too, and that's a dollop of jam there, sir. I like it.
I left a little for you.
Go on in. And then to me, the bloomy rind, which is the puffy, it is like a pillow, but it's a little harder on the outside. To me, super minerally. Metallic. I mean, I get like a kind of metallic flavor to it, but I get that with most bloominess. That's what I taste.
A lot of times people say for cheeses like this they get citrusy, and sometimes I get it, but when the goat cheeses are really ripe, I don't get as much of the citrusy. I get that more on the younger ones. So this one I get like definitely an earthiness, a goatiness, and that definitely comes with the ripeness.
With the wine, it's really just complementary. The wine stands on its own, cheese stands on its own. They're not going like this, but they're not going like this.
Yeah.
They're kind of each their own. It's interesting. I love that, trying them together to see what happens. But this one, Rob, okay, these discs, you guys, so you could see maybe in the piece that you got on your plate, the whole log is maybe, I don't know, this round, size-wise. You know what's so super, super good is to slice those rounds and then do a little batter treatment to it, like you would if you're going to fry chicken. You do flour, egg, and some crumbs, and then deep fry it and make like a goat cheese crouton. These are delicious to do that.
Wow.
If I may recommend, you just make sure that cheese is like literally ice cold, almost frozen cold when you do that, and then throw it in a fryer if you're just a shallow, oil in your pan. Deep fry these into like goat cheese croutons, you guys.
Is it like a croquette kind of?
Like a croquette.
Yeah.
It's a cheese croquette, like full on cheese.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I think I've had something similar actually right across the street here. They do like a fried goat cheese
one, and
or
it's
something.
Delicious.
Right?
I'm sure the cheese is just like a fresh chev, but it works.
What are they called? Let's give them a shout out. Half Door.
Half Door Brewery. Yep.
Yeah.
Try it. They kind of got a good one.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a good way to start this. This is all fresh and light.
Yeah, and I wanted one more little thing about that pairing. That is probably the most traditional pairing with this type of wine. And
the goat.
Yeah, like sometimes we talk about regional pairing, and I mentioned, of course, this is from South Africa, but this varietal is connected to the Loire Valley, and so a classic from the Loire Valley would be Sauvignon Blanc or Chenin Blanc with a goat cheese like this. So this goat cheese, while it's from Spain, is really it's kind of based on the traditional goat's milk cheeses that originated in the Loire Valley, around where. So this is kind of a spin on a French regional pairing, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly, and it works.
Yeah.
Can you go back, Rob? Carol was asking the merino goats versus merino sheeps. Are the sheeps also called merino?
No,
like
it's
the goat?
Murciana.
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 Okay.
So it's Murciana. That's the it's.
And it's goats and sheeps are Murciana?
No, I'm not sure what the breed of the sheep is. They might be Murciana sheep, but it's a so it's named. They're named for the region. So I love.
The sheep are a different name though from that region, not Murciana.
It's not okay,
but I can't remember what those were.
It's
we'll look it up.
The goats are the really famous one from there.
Yeah.
And I know there's some really funny pictures out there. Or not, I don't know, funny.
I gotta look at them.
Yeah, it's just you're like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
Is that real? And it turns out they are.
They're also different, the goats. The different breeds, and like humans, we're all different. Yeah.
And cheeses, some of them stink. Some get better with age.
Me. Was that who you were referring to?
No, better with age.
Wait,
yeah, like a fine wine.
The stinky one or the better with age?
No, better with age.
Okay. So I showered. George likes the wine with the goat cheese, and I'm with you, George. They are just smooth together.
A good match.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about this next cheese because I've never tasted this before.
Okay, you neither? Both of us. So all of us out there, this is the first time. The am I going to even say it right?
Is it Bufflone?
Bufflone Rousse. Rousse for the red rind, right?
Yeah.
For the reddish colored rind.
Yep.
So this is fun. Buffali for the buffalo milk, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, the word bufala means buffalo in Italian. So maybe there's Bufflone. Maybe that's just I don't know.
Like a mini buffalo.
Something.
Sounds like a tiny creature. Bufflone.
Buffalone.
I'll take a little
My
buffalone.
little buffalone. No, I don't know if maybe there's like maybe there's a different dialect up there. So this is not from. Oh, let me back up. The Mozzarella Di Buffalo, most of the buffalo milk cheeses that are from Italy are from southern Italy. They all come from Campania, which is the region in the south. So somewhere or at some point, someone brought a bunch of buffalo from southern Italy up to northern Italy, and there is a cheesemaker making buffalo milk cheeses in Bergamo, a region called Bergamo, which is Lombardy. And so there's a ton of different cheeses styles made up there, but we have another one called Casatica di Bufala, and there's another one I can't remember what it's called from up there.
Yeah,
so
it's fun to try the buffalo milks.
Yeah,
this one smells not dirty to me. I don't like that. That's not a good word.
Curdy.
It's definitely not curdy because it's not milky to me. This one has a very unique aroma. It is very squishy. You said squishy earlier. This is squishy. This is a funny squishy one.
It's kind of okay.
What do you think? Almost
I think
brie-like.
It's very creamy. It's very sweet to me. I got almost like a whipped cream.
Good one. I'll give you that.
Maybe it's more sour cream, but I'm getting like a
whipped sour cream because this is really fluffy.
Yeah, I'm
fluffy.
getting something.
I like it.
Something like a almost, or it almost has like a mascarpone, like a silky, almost like a silky texture going on.
Yeah. Well, it's super rich.
Can you talk for a little bit? So
I can talk for a minute. So buffalo milk, one thing about it is it's super, super fatty and nutritious. When we talk about kind of the levels of fattiness in the milks, goat milk kind of being the least fat, then you go to the cow milk, then you go to the sheep milk, then you get to buffalo. These are the granddaddies full of fat and nutrients. Don't you think that's rich? Like I ate that whole quarter of the square piece. I feel like I am full.
Yeah.
Like it is super, super rich. And the buffalo milk will do that. But I like it. It's pleasant. It's not too strong. Not funky.
It's good. I mean, and like you said, I feel like I'm pretty satisfied. It was really delicious, and we still have another big piece and a half there that I might just wait on because I want to try the other ones.
Yeah, maybe do it for dessert. I would kind of hold that one off for kind of dessert with a little chocolate. That'd be delicious.
So Buffalo produce less milk, but you get a high yield because they're really fatty and rich, kind of like sheep's milk. Similar, and so it's interesting that texture is similar to the Kasatika. So some of the other aged, and when I say aged, I just mean like they're not fresh cheeses. Mozzarellas are fresh, and so you usually taste them within a week or two. But this one is one we know it's aged because it has a rind on it. So this is I'm guessing still less than 2 months. It's not aged a long time.
I would agree. Mm-hmm.
So it still is soft and has a creaminess to it, but it gets just the texture changes just so much.
Yeah. Carol was asking, could you cook with this? And so my answer would be absolutely yes. It would be so expensive to do it. This is why I think like there's buffalo milk mozzarella, right? Buffalo burrata. But there's so little buffalo milk out there that these are the cheeses you kind of, I think, want to enjoy on their own, just to get that flavor. Although you could totally melt it. This would melt like a dream. Yeah. The rind would get, a little, maybe you'd cut off the rind to melt it into something. It would add such a creaminess to mac and cheese, though. I'm thinking that, some people put Velveeta as their cheese of choice to make a mac and cheese ultra creamy. This would do that same trick, but be way more rich. Way more rich.
This would also be good for like, the cheeses they use for those recipes in Savoie, like the potatoes with the reblochon.
Yes.
What's that dish called?
Tartiflette. The tartiflette. And then, Carol, you had made me buy, which I still have the box of that pasta that I bought, the little square pastas, and I thought about making it the other night, and I didn't, and I won't have enough cheese tonight because Rob's here, so I won't be able to melt it in there.
How about doing this cheese in a ravioli?
Oh, stuff it in there.
Yeah, but a big ravioli,
so one
the
of
ones
those
that Nate makes.
Yeah. A Nate size ravioli. A Nate. That'd be delicious. I would do it in there with I would do it like a caprese thing, like with a tomato basil thing in there to give it that twist.
Well, that would be the buffalo twist. That's a dance too.
You do the buffalo twist.
Oh boy.
That is so good. George thinks it's silky. Silky is a good word too. It is super silky smooth. It goes great with the wine again. I don't know which one's better. This one, I think they blended together. I don't know, but it's super silky. I think it's versatile.
Silky smooth, like Fernando Tatis. Do you know who that is?
I think he's a Padre.
Yes. He's a really good baseball player.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Had to pull out the Padres reference.
I think I
They're right behind us.
They are behind us, and one of them lives in the building. I can't remember his name.
Oh, yeah?
But I think I was in the elevator with him. He's
Today?
super tall. He had a baseball all wonky and stuff. I think that's probably him.
Does he just wear his jersey or his uniform
around
the building?
Exactly. Like signing autographs.
Like I did in Little League.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, shall we try number 3?
Very good. Yes, I can't wait to try more. Numero tres. Well, this one I'm so excited to try with this, may I say.
Well, so now we're going a different direction. So as Gina said at the beginning, like this wine or these types of wines, that kind of stone fruit, acidic, crisp, are really fun and a good contrasting pairing for spicy food. So a lot of Asian cuisine.
Yeah.
But
Indian, perhaps?
Or Indian would be really good. So this cheese is called Tomarashi, and again, it's the one with a little red flecks in it. Tomarashi is a play on word. So the base cheese is a cheese called Toma, which is from Point Reyes Farmstead Creamery there in the Bay Area. They're in Point Reyes, which is the North Bay, and they make a ton of great cheeses. But this is like a cow's milk table cheese. It's a really versatile cheese, so they make a lot of different versions of it where they add either bits to it or herbs or spices. For this one they added togarashi spice, which is a blend. It's a lot of stuff, including
Japanese spices.
It's Japanese spice, chili flakes, sesame seeds,
little seaweed flakes.
Seaweed,
gives you a little Asian, a hint of Asia. In each bite. I love this cheese. This one, Carol, melts like a dream. I mean, truly like a dream. I could just take a wedge of it and melt it in a puddle and just dip and eat. So this one is truly delicious. But I like the flavors in here.
Yeah, this is really good.
I'm not anti-flavored cheeses.
No, me neither. I actually had some of this at the house, and I've been making it into quesadillas, and it's really good.
Ooh, quesadillas. Let's see what we think. I'm not getting a huge amount of the spices today. Are you?
Nope.
It's very light, mild.
But it is a funky cheese. I think it has kind of like almost like a. It's a little bit stronger than the normal Toma. I don't know if you noticed that, the base.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And Toma is just a wheel of cheese. Yeah. The French have their tomes. The Italians have their tomas. This leans toward the Italian word, Toma.
The family that makes it is they're Italian Americans.
Yeah.
And so it's based on the Italian table cheese, little rounds that are from the north. So I mentioned Lombardy, but also Piedmont and some other regions up there produce these types of cheeses. They're versatile. They kind of go with everything, but they're also good cheeses to kind of play around with. They're blank slate.
I just got a little of the rind. It seems a little more pungent. I must have just got a pepper flake or something, but it's super delicious. Well, like a pepper jack is what George says, and that's a way to put it too. It kind of has a pepper jack notes to it because it's the chili peppers in there. It
does, and it has a similar texture. I think that they might have washed this rind.
Do you think they did?
Maybe. If it seems like it's maybe washed. Or
instead of just natural?
I don't know. I can't really tell.
Hard to say. Call point raised.
No, maybe not.
But it's really, really good. But like a pepper jack, and pepper jack has that texture, that again spongy, flexible, gumby texture. I like it. Something completely different.
So it's pasteurized cow's milk. They use veggie rennet for this. So it's they don't use animal rennet. It's microbial rennet. They use a rennet to coagulate the milk at the beginning of the process and turn the milk into curds and whey. And it's aged for 90 days. So that gives you an idea of what age does to cheese. We've kind of gone up the ladder here. The first cheese is 2 to 4 weeks probably, and then the next one was a little bit older than that. The next one was a little bit older. And so, a good way, or we say mild to wild when we taste in order. The same is true for if we're tasting beer, wine, whiskey, and it's usually the order is also usually goes with the age,
youngest to oldest,
and it also usually goes with the alcohol level. So all of that is going to contribute to
that'd be an interesting, a fun little tasting too, because you have. Thinking of cheddars is the good example. You can have a 1 year age, a 5 year age, 10 year age, and 15 year age, and taste them all and see what you think.
Parmigiano Reggiano, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, for sure.
They're going to get different.
Well, I like it. It goes great with the wine. And again, I think it's that anything that those peppery spices. I think any spices. Pick your poison. Is it Asian spices, Indian spices, Japanese spices? Will be good with this wine.
Yeah.
And a reason we talked too, the white wines are acidic, and those tend to be the good food wines. I know everybody loves the reds, and I'm a fan of reds too. But with cheese and with food, sometimes the whites are just way better.
Something to balance and kind of refresh and just kind of scrub your palate off a little bit.
I'm gonna scrub with a grape if I may.
Ooh, that's always my favorite. I forgot about grapes.
I might scrub with a grape. We didn't do our favorite rosemary sprig either.
We can go back to it.
Yep. Okay. Now to
the
Paski Sir. So what we went around the world in this plate today.
What did you call me?
A pesky. No, I'm sorry.
Pesky Sir.
A Pesky Sir. So started with Spain, jumped on our way to France, came back to the U.S. Now we go to Croatia.
This has a bite to it.
Does it have a super bite?
Yeah.
You smell it and know it has a bite.
So this is made with ovca.
Ovca. Tell me us about ovca.
Ovca. That's a Croatian word for sheep.
Sounds like oveja.
Yeah. Oveja in Spanish. Pecora across the Adriatic. In Italy, Brebbi. Why are they all so different?
Brebbi is different from the oveja and the... I don't know why.
And pecora.
And what about sheep?
And sheep.
And sheep. Where does sheep come from?
I guess they eat... I mean, maybe... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll get to that. But this is Croatia's most famous cheese. It's always sheep's milk. It gets aged from a minimum of 2 months and up to a couple years. This has got to be at least a year, right?
Oh, definitely. I would give it a good year and a half, maybe. Yeah, for sure.
They come from the island of Pag, P-A-G, and it's a total shepherd cheese. It's been made for forever, and it's kind of like their version of pecorino or Manchego.
Yeah. Isn't Sir their word for cheese?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Käse is a German word for cheese, fromage, whatever. But Sir, because I think a lot of their cheeses are called something Sir, which is cheese. So, kind of interesting.
So Dalmatia, is Dalmatia a place in Croatia?
Oh, in Croatia, because we get Dalmatia figs jam.
On his way to Dalmatia, this gentleman wrote about Pag's island products, including this cheese. I'm just reading this little article, but it says on his way to Dalmatia, and I wonder if that's another name for Croatia or if it's a region or something. Maybe someone can look it up. So the rind on this it looks to be natural, but it's kind of hard, right?
Oh, I ate it. No, I haven't eaten it yet.
I'm eating it.
Eat it? It's like it looks like Parmigiano Reggiano rind to me. I love eating that. The other day, I ate like a bunch of Gruyere rind. I don't care that it's all crunchy and crusty. I love that. But it's good, right?
You eat the paper on the rind?
If it's there. Fiber, right?
Yeah.
Good for the diet. Good for the diet. So I've had more assertive though Paski Sirs than this one.
Yeah.
And even more crumbly. They get older, more crumbly, more assertive. But this one's just lovely, and you can see it's kind of slippery, as sheep milk cheeses tend to be. When it gets oily and they weep, and it kind of cries, oils.
Sweats.
Thanks, that's the word I was looking for. Those are indicative of sheep milk cheeses. Yeah. You can almost look at sometimes and say, just because of that, I think it's a sheep milk.
They're really oily, and they also tend to get aged, and so they're usually harder cheeses. We mentioned, think about Manchegos and Pecorinos. Those are all hard cheeses, but they're not always hard, because Roquefort is a sheep's milk cheese, and that's a softer blue. So they just, I would say, more often are aged, just like goat cheeses are more often
fresh,
not aged.
Oh my God, the Paski Sir with the rosemary.
Is it good?
Phenomenal.
I'll have to try it. I didn't have a strawberry.
Just saying, and with the wine, the rosemary with the wine, fabulous. Strawberry with it was so good. This one's versatile. You could shave this on a pasta dish just as you would Parmigiano, like Rob said, right? It'd be delicious. Paski Sir. Kind of neat to be. Have you ever been to Croatia? Me neither. It's on the list.
It's on my list. I would definitely like to go.
Must go.
I want to go. I want to hit up some of the eastern, like the regions in southeastern Italy, Puglia.
Oh yeah.
Where's the is Puglia? Is that where Bari is?
I'm not sure.
Oh. I think that's where like burrata comes from.
I know it's that. Yes.
Kind of
that's
like the
true.
The high heel of the boot down there, and there's also like Umbria, and there's another region. Is it Basilicata maybe?
Basilicata's down there in
Campania is on the Campania is on the west. So I've been to Campania.
In the toe, you're going to the heel.
Yeah.
You want everything at the heel.
I've been in the shin, but on the backside, I think it's relative. Like you can just hop on a boat and just go out into the Adriatic and see Croatia and eat lots of seafood.
Drink wine, eat seafood, all the good things in life.
Yes.
That goes with everything on the plate. I've tried it with the jam, I tried it with the strawberry, tried it with the rosemary. Delicious.
I was thinking, the story of these Pag cheeses, they go back to shepherds making cheeses and just sort of being out there and doing like rotational grazing all over the island with their sheep, and it reminds me of the history of cheese making in the Basque region, where it's like the same kind of deal. Like we talked about smoking cheeses and how people get a little smoke crazy, but back in the day, the smoking of certain cheeses would happen because shepherds would be out and they would be camping out. Basically, they would make little tents, and they would camp out with their flock, and they would cook every night. But they would also be making cheese and hanging the cheese in the rafters to age because they had all this milk from their animals, because the animals have to
let it go to waste.
Yeah, right, nothing goes to waste. And so the reason a lot of cheeses were originally smoked was because they would be cooking, and the smoke would just happen to go up into the rafters where the cheese was hanging.
Just
and
absorb
so like,
into
that tastes
there.
pretty good. And so now now it's all done. It's all controlled. But so a lot of similar sort of stories come out of Croatia, and we have that jam called Dalmatia fig jam, which is
figs
from
are
Croatia.
huge there.
Yeah,
Figs
it's another
huge,
big thing.
huge there. Figs, dates, all that kind of stuff. Well, this would be considered part of the Mediterranean diet, right? The Paski Sir.
Is that Mediterranean
or an
still?
Adriatic diet?
That's Adriatic, I think.
Not a good diet?
Or is Adriatic part of the greater Mediterranean? I don't know.
I don't know.
Didn't we have a debate about that one time?
We might have.
Who knows?
This
But
is
it's
so
all
good.
it's all delicious.
It's all delicious. Do it with the jam.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's so
if
good.
you insist.
I didn't. The Tomarashi with the jam would be good too. So much. But those together and with the wine, super good. But back to the figs. Figs are the classic cheese pairing fruit, right? It's because it goes back to that's where cheese came from. Where
Figs?
the land of figs. No, way back in the middle, right?
Oh,
I mean, don't you think? Like, why is it figs always figs with cheese? Figs.
the original
Professor.
cheeses?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned how Croatia is great or known for producing dates and figs, but you know who is really known for that is the Fertile Crescent, which is Mesopotamia, which is the Middle East.
Which is the birthplace, you could say, of cheese, right?
And so that's the oldest, that's the farthest back that cheese making or cheese history goes is to the Middle East, to those cave paintings of cheese making, 6,000 years or so. Of course, people were making cheeses all over the place, but that's the oldest place that it's been credited to. And I know if like Turkey, for example, like they produce the most diverse variety of fruits and vegetables of anywhere.
So crazy.
Yeah. I mean, all like
all good.
apricots and things like that. I mean,
It's
everything
also good.
comes from there.
Well, the fig with that is spectacular. Let's see if the fig with the wine, but I think it will be spectacular. Again, I don't think you can go wrong with this wine. I think it's going to go with everything.
So this sounds like it's one of your favorites that we've had, especially
Yeah,
for
kind of
pairing.
is for the pairings. Yeah, I'm thinking back on them all. This is 27th Wino Wednesday, so this has been a lot of varietals of wine. But I'm up there with it. It's simple. There's nothing crazy about it, nothing weird or completely different. It's just good.
Yeah.
So easy.
And it was a good pick. Did you pick it on purpose because it's kind of summery? Or is that
Yes.
just coincidence?
2 reasons. Yes, we knew we wanted white, getting into like kind of lighter wines for the summer. Having been to South Africa and had this wine before, knew that it was good and knew that I liked Chenin Blancs. But most of them that I've had have been more woody, maybe oaky. This isn't, so I liked it even better, I'll say.
Not woodsy.
Not
It's a
woodsy.
woody.
Could it be woody or woodsy? What's the difference? Now he's being a smartass. But that's okay. That's okay. But all good, Rob. Varietals. This is crazy.
I like Woodsy Guthrie. He's a good singer.
Oh, God. Oh.
And Woodsy Harrelson's a good actor, too.
I can't keep up.
All right,
I will
I'm
try
done.
to come up with it. Buzz and Woodsy Lightyear? No,
Oh,
Woods and Buzzy. I don't know. I did it backwards, I think, but you know where I was going with it.
James Woodsy. All right, that's enough.
That's enough of that. That's enough. Well, all good today, Rob. None of them made me go, that didn't work. They all just worked so spectacularly.
This was fun. I mean, we had different textures, different milk types.
Yeah.
We
George
had all
knew. He's
4.
like, didn't we have something similar to the Cana de Cabra before? That was Queso Leonora.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Super similar.
Yeah, they're similar cheese. You know what? The difference between those is always going to be the ripeness of the cheese.
Yeah.
So they can, depending on the ripeness, they can be milder, they can be stronger. But for those, it's where they come
right?
from. Queso Leonora is from Leon. This one's from Murcia. So different regions, but made in a very similar way. It'll be a different breed of goat too, but also the shape of the cheese. This one is in that log shape, like Gina said. The Queso Leonora is more in like a I don't even know, how would you describe that shape? It's like a squished, like a
What is it?
rectangular log or
A
something.
log that is squished. So weird, a
Squished
weird
log.
shape. You just wonder where they come up with
Like
that shape.
a brick shape or something. I don't know.
George really liked this one, that it was just a super pleasant. And everybody wants to meet someday.
Yeah.
Can we just say George is meeting us? Our next class, you guys, is an in-person, the next tasting, our pairing in Pioneer Park. Yeah, that's going to be good, right?
Nice.
On Thursday, the 15th of July. So next, not this coming Thursday, the following Thursday. We're having a pairing picnic in the park, pairing picnic in Pioneer Park.
Are you planning on being there?
I'm going to be there. Because
I'll
I want to meet.
I'll try and be there too.
George is coming with
Yeah.
oodles of his friends,
Oh, then
which
I'll
is
stop
super
by.
cool. Carol, you need to come down. Carol, you want to meet George? Well, George is going to be there.
Yeah, and then we all need to get together and go on a Benny voyage.
We do. We need to go to all the places we've talked about.
Yes.
Starting with France, you can join Rob in France in April. Next
Yeah,
year.
we were just working on this. We're doing France in
France in
April 2022, Alps in the fall 2022.
September 2022.
And that'll be, both of us will be on that trip. And then we're still working on 2023.
2023, which is looking very Italian focused.
Yeah.
2023, after which might be France in the Alps again. But
Yep.
2022 is where it's
We're
at.
trying to get our rotation back.
Yeah, exactly. So next it's just going to be introduction to all these, literally meeting now these cheesemakers. You've tasted all these cheeses. Now you can go and see where these come from, and you'll be just astounded. It's
And if you don't
beautiful.
like one of them and you see that meet the cheesemaker, you don't have to tell them that you don't like it. You can just be like, oh,
Oh wow, I gotta go. It's late, early.
or you can.
But would that ever happen, Rob?
No, it's
it would
impossible.
never happen. It's impossible because they're delicious. Yeah. So it's all good. But yes, so hopefully we can see you live. Everyone, it would be so super. Again, okay, Rob, we're gonna do another virtual Wino. We're gonna stick a few virtuals, keep going a little
Yeah.
bit virtual because people like. It's kind of fun. It's casual. You don't have to drive. Kick back. So the next one is on the 21st. We're doing Moscato. We're keeping with the summer light theme. So Moscatos, just like Chardonnays, I'm kind of scared of Moscatos.
They don't have to be sweet though, right?
No, they don't have to
Okay.
be awfully sweet, but tend to be the sweeter side because the grape is sweeter, which we will learn. But that's the next one, 21st. You're doing a beer thing at the end of the month.
We are doing an in-person beer event. It's actually beer and hard yerba mate.
Which I've never heard of that because yerba mate is a tea, is it not?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's at what they call the Acre of Awesome, which is a great name.
That's a great name. And I drove by. We actually had a pint in
Did you
part
go
of the
inside?
Acre of Awesome.
It's
just
cool.
into the beer brewery part,
Okay.
not the yerba mate side.
It is, so it's over in Barrio Logan, and it's Thorn, but it's also Cove, or Cove is the yerba mate place. They're connected to Thorn. And there's a couple of
Pizza.
restaurants. There's pizza, and then there's another little spot outside, a bunch of places to sit. It's a cool little acre. It's an awesome acre, actually.
It's an awesome acre.
And so we're going to do a 4x4 pairing there on Sunday the 25th. Is that right?
Yep.
And I believe it's going to be at 1 o'clock. We're going to bring 4 cheeses, and they're going to do 2 hard yerba mates and 2 Thorn beers.
Fun.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've done the beers.
I'm so excited to get back into. We've been doing some in-person private events. We've done a couple public events too, right?
Yeah.
Or have we done public events yet?
I don't know.
No.
What I want to do, Rob, I want to do a big public Wino Wednesday soon. Probably like early fall is what I'm thinking. Where we just get everyone together, and it's going to be a cheese feast.
Yeah.
What if we just lay out almost all the cheeses that we ate this year just start eating?
As a challenge.
As a challenge. Not all the wines. That would be super challenging. But we'll pick a wine that we think would be fine for such a situation.
Yeah.
But just to get a chance to really meet everyone, because it's fun to chat, but I would really just love to see.
Probably up in Del Mar. It would make the most sense to do it up in Del Mar, don't you think?
Probably, because we have our Piazza del Formaggio place to sit. Rob, you are going to pop in on the 15th, George wants to know,
Yeah,
yes?
I will.
Yeah, so we're going to be there, George, to pop in. Nate's leading this, but he's great too.
Yeah.
But you've maybe met Nate in some of his Sunday suppers. But yes, just to sit in a park outside with our friends, eating cheese, drinking wine if you feel like it. Bring a chair, kick back. I mean, how fun is that? Yeah.
Can't
I
beat
know,
it.
life is back. I was hoping for the roar of the crowd, but it's a little too early from the stadium.
I hope it doesn't rain. What's the weather forecast on the 15th? Do we
It's
know?
going to be fine. It's San Diego. What is the weather? Oh, sunny again. 68 degrees again.
We got out of that
70
horrible
again.
June gloom.
Yes, we're done. We're done. But I'm fine because I had wine and cheese, Rob.
Is there anything better than San Diego in summer dusk time?
No.
I mean, between like this around this time
Right now, that's why I wanted to
in
be
the
out
summer.
here.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just you cannot beat it.
And the sunset, and yeah, it's all fine. But we thank you all, as always, so much for just eating cheese and supporting the Wino Wednesdays and us. And on behalf of me, Robbie G here, hope to see you again in the future. Signing off for this evening. Au revoir. What was the theme tonight? What did you say in South Africa? The accent. Can you say it?
Bye bye, mate.
Bye-bye, mate.
Did they say mate?
They might say mate. I don't know. That might be a little, but anyways. Love you too, Carol. Love everyone out there. Thank
Love
you
you,
so
Carol.
much. Have a great night.
George,
and,
everybody.
Till next time. Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye. Happy eating.